other thing I wanted to talk about today is really talking about networking. And for me, this is something that you notice like a lot of times people talk about creatives when it comes to people that create art, right? Whether you're a photographer, videographer, painter, whatever. A lot of times people think that being a creative means you have to be incompetent when it comes to business, right? Sometimes a lot of people that are creatives don't really grasp the idea or the value of being efficient and confident when it comes to business. And part of that's kind of why, you hear the term starving artists, right? You have people that, yeah, I'm a creator. Yeah, I make this, but I barely make enough to make a living, right? And that doesn't always have to be the case. And when it comes to being able to not only profit, but actually be able to continue to do what you enjoy and create an income from it, one of the most important parts of that is our network, right? As creatives, networking is so huge. It's so important. And I feel like it's kind of one of those scary terms sometimes for people because, honestly, one of the biggest fears for people is public speaking, right? That's like people would rather do anything else than speak in public. And it's funny because growing up, we really don't have, we're not naturally ingrained with these fears when we're born, right? When we're born, you have a fear of loud noises and you have a fear of falling. It's kind of minimal, but you start learning these different fears based off of your environment. And honestly, kind of the fear of talking to people, that's something that I had to overcome early on, because when I got started being a creative, when I got started doing photo and video, I was kind of in that phase where I was transitioning. Naturally, my tendency, and honestly, it's kind of funny that I do run a YouTube channel, do podcasts, do all these things, but naturally my tendency is to be kind of like an almost introvert in a sense, to where I'm not against people, right? I'm not against being around people. I'm not against hanging out with people, but my preference would be to just kind of chill, hang loose. I'm kind of a homebody. Like if we don't have to expend the energy, I'm not going to do it, that kind of thing. Like I am not going to go out of my way to talk to people, unless I had to, right? That's kind of like my natural tendency, was to just kind of be like, hey, I'll talk to you if you talk to me, but I'm not going to go out of my way to talk to you, right? And that's just, sticking to your natural tendencies. That's where I was, right? But being that kind of person to where you're not open to engaging, or maybe even you have a fear of engaging with other people around you, that's going to be one of the things that really holds you back, because a lot of the doors, a lot of the opportunities that are out there for you as a creative, as a business owner, whatever it may be, are going to be at the other end of a handshake, right? Are going to be at the other end of a conversation, because the people, even though our product, the things that we create, the photos, the videos, all of that is digital, right? It primarily is consumed digitally, is created digitally. All of it is digital. At the end of the day, the people that consume that aren't just stuck in the virtual world, right? You have real life people. And if you want to continue to grow your business, if you want to continue to grow your opportunities to be able to do what you want, to do the things that you enjoy for a living, you have to learn how to grow your network. And networking sounds like such a big word, but really to me, the way that helped me kind of overcome that fear of it was really understanding that networking is just making friends, right? It's making connections. Like we all grew up, nobody was born with a list of friends, right? Nobody was born with a list of friends. Really, when you were born, you made, your list of friends, including your mom, your dad, and your siblings, maybe, right? Maybe some close family here and there, but nobody was born with like a huge list of connections. We develop those connections by naturally being friendly, by naturally finding common ground with people and being able to engage them and being able to say, hey, I kind of like this person, right? I like hanging out around with them. I like doing things with them. And that becomes a friendship and eventually continues to blossom into, bigger things. But that's really the part that as creatives, we have to make sure that we're continuing to stay on top of our networking, and not just digitally, right? Digital networking, between whatever, Facebook, whatever social media platform you want to use, Instagram, LinkedIn, it doesn't matter. But digital networking is okay, but you have to make sure you're networking in person. This is such a huge, and it was a good eye opener for me in terms of things that I feel like are helpful for creatives, because a lot of the business that we've been able to create with Shot City Media, with CachedOut, is essentially been through in-person networking, right? We've been able to meet people out in the marketplace, through just doing events, right? Going to events, going to networking events, going to just where people are, people that have common interests with us, right? People that enjoy the same things we enjoy. And it keeps us out. Like we're out there, we're out and about, we're doing things we enjoy. And while we're doing that, there's other people around us that are like, hey, I love photography too, or hey, I've been interested in photography, or I've been looking for a photographer, I've been looking for a videographer, we do this and that. What do you have to offer? And we can really connect and build relationships and connections really easily just by being out in the marketplace, being out around other people and looking for those opportunities to network. And recently I actually got an opportunity to be invited in to do a wedding show, and it wasn't something that we set up. We actually had a good connection with a wedding photographer, and she invited us in to tag team with her to be able to network and meet some new faces and make some new connections. And through that wedding show, it was maybe like 2 or 3 hours of our time, but we were able to get, I think, like 1 to 3 bookings for next year for a wedding. But it's not what I expected it to be. I expected it to just kind of be like, just constant, people coming in, people coming here, people coming there, it's almost like a trade show kind of deal. But it was a lot of the connections really happened just from having dialogues with the brides, having dialogues with their moms. And really the people that booked us were looking at us and they're like, hey, we like you guys because you seem like awesome people, right? Your work is there, we can see the fruit of your work, but you as people are really the reason. Like I remember clearly one of the brides that booked us, and she said, like, I really like your presence, I really like your energy, I book people based on their feel, based on their energy, and I really like the presence that you have, so we're gonna book you, right? And that could never have happened if all I was doing was just digital networking or digital marketing, right? There's a time and place. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, it's an important thing, but that shouldn't be the only force for your marketing if you're trying to grow your business, right? As a creative, yes, our art, our creativity, the content we create, that will speak for itself. But outside of that, there's more to you than just what you create, right? As a creator, there's more to you than what you create. It's also about who you are, your personality, the things that you bring to the table, how you handle people, how you conversate with people, how you treat people. All of this matters, and it all comes to play. And you can't showcase how friendly you are. You can't showcase how cool you are to have on set or on the wedding unless you're physically there with people. So that's one of the big things that I'd say as you're trying to grow your business, grow yourself as a creator, and get new and awesome opportunities. Make sure that you're networking beyond just the digital realm. Make sure that your networking is going outside of the computers, is going outside of the social media platforms, and that you're putting yourself in position. It doesn't have to be like every day, but at least you're in an opportunity to be able to physically meet and talk to people and show them how awesome you are besides just being behind the camera. So that for me is just something that I had on my heart to really talk about. And I feel like it's something that's a little more challenging for creatives, a little more challenging for people because naturally when we're creating stuff, or we're taking pictures, doing videos, making art, whatever, we're not typically doing it like we're the ones behind the camera, right? We're the ones with the vision. We're the ones that are capturing other people. It's not necessarily us going out and, engaging with them directly, but being willing to kind of leave the back of your camera, kind of put the camera down for a minute and go out there and really engage with people, really get to know people, get to know their stories, and show them who you are, show them that you care. And that, honestly, it's not a manipulation. We're not manipulating people. It's really just being genuine. It's being normal. It's being natural, right? That's how society has grown. Societies have grown over time by people communicating, fellowshipping, being around each other, not just by being stuck behind a screen, right? Nothing really grows when you don't really have face-to-face interaction. So just something that I felt was really important. Just make sure that you're out there networking. You're out there just putting yourself in position to meet new people, go to some things that you enjoy, maybe some things that you haven't done much of, and just put yourself out there and be willing to ask good questions to people. And I think that's kind of one of the scary parts is like, where do you start, right? Where do you start? Honestly, just be normal, just relax, ask people questions about themselves, get people talking about themselves, and you'll be surprised how quickly you find common ground with them, and also how quickly they come to like you, right? Because a lot of times everybody, especially in our society today, everybody is like, we are putting out material about who we are, how awesome we are, what we've made, what we've created, but very rarely do people get an opportunity to be spotlighted, to be showcased, to where you're giving them your full attention. You're giving them an opportunity to tell you how awesome they are instead of just hearing about how awesome you are. And that honestly is a phenomenal thing for people. It's feeding a hunger that a lot of people don't get satisfied. And by doing that, it allows you to now become to honestly be someone who they know, they're like, okay, I know I can come to you. I know that you care enough about me to hear about what I have to offer. And now you guys can have some conversations, opportunities can be opened up, doors can be opened up. And it's just a really cool way to not only continue to grow your business as a creative, but really to be able to make an impact in other people's lives as you're doing it, right? Because it's not all about the money, right? It's not just all about making money. It's a part of being able to actually add value to people with what we do in every area that we can. So networking, such a huge part, such an important thing, just something that to keep in mind as a creative, as you're growing your business, as you're doing more of what you love to do. Make sure that you're slowing down to speed up, slowing down to really connect with the people around you, and see who's out there and see what ways you guys can really be able to connect and partner together.